Welcome back to Grateful and Growing. I'm Tamiriel.
And I'm Dione. And today we're going to talk about who in life be lifing.
Because lately life has been life.
Life has definitely been lifing. On Sunday,
May 18th.
May 18th, we had a house fire. It was a grease fire, very dramatic, very chaotic. It happened like really fast. Everything happened really fast. And there were injuries, as you can see. Can you see my face? That's some burns, second and third degree burns here, some second degree burns here, and I also got some burns on my leg. But we're grateful because we're alive. Everybody got out, everybody's okay, our babies are okay. But as you can see, our backdrop here, we're in a hotel.
Yes, we are still displaced because we are waiting for them to finish the cleanup as far as getting all the water out. The sprinklers did the job, put out the fire, but it was still very traumatic. And so hopefully we're going to be able to get back into our homes this week. But living outside of your home teaches you a lot of things. Yes, so many more things could be wrong. We could not have a place to go back to, but it has been somewhat of an inconvenience, just having to figure out from day to day because they're not giving us a specific day when we can come back. It's just like it may be this day, it may be that day, but home is home. You want to go back home, you want to be comfortable, but we are just taking it one day at a time and trying to figure out life as we go and be grateful for each other, while we're still alive.
Yeah.
She's still with me.
Yeah. You said you saw, I think you said the most traumatic thing was just seeing the explosion.
Yes. For me, we were right there together, but I don't even know there's pieces of my memory that's gone because there is a very traumatic image that is imprinted on my brain. And that was when I turned around. I had stepped outside of the kitchen because we were trying to see how we were going to put the fire out, and we were just moving so fast. And she did not know that there was grease in it. And so when she put the water in it, of course, when I turned around, what I seen was the explosion. It just went up the whole kitchen. It looked like the entire kitchen just went up in flames. And she was standing right there. And then from that moment to the moment that she came out of the kitchen, she was on the floor, then she was up and then on the floor again. She wasn't at that moment covered in flames, but something happened between the blow up and her coming out of the kitchen because her clothes had been torched. We didn't even realize any of those things until after everything was over, realized that she had been burned on her legs. So we were able to get the animals out, able to get, out of the house, and everybody was fine. But then we went from being fine to not. At least me. All I can say is you can prepare all of your life. You can prepare and say, when something happens, these are the steps that I'll take. You can be this, I am that prepared person, or I considered myself to be that prepared person, to be calm. And throughout all the life circumstances, I've been able to just maintain my composure. But for some reason, that did not happen. And basically, the lesson that I learned is life is life, and regardless of how we're prepared, sometimes we just don't know how our body is going to respond. And although I was able to stay alert and awake enough to be able to do what we need to do to get out of the house, once we got out of the house, I lost it. Like, I completely lost it. And I could not regain composure. I could not. That's like I could not like calm myself down. Nobody else could calm me down. I knew that I was outside of my element. I didn't like I felt like I had no tools to bring me back to the point where I needed to be. And I was just completely overwhelmed. And of course, therapists and people and everybody say, give yourself grace. But as a mother, and I'm sure anybody else out there would think that as a mother, you think that I'm going to be prepared. And even though we didn't have any physical children, our babies are children, but it still makes me think, well, my grandchildren were on the way. They were supposed to be there that following week. And so, of course, I've been scratching my mind and thinking, what would have happened if the children were here? Would I have responded differently? Would I, you know, like all of these things that I shouldn't really be thinking about? It is going through my head. But um, at the end of the day, all you can do, I mean, life is life.
Right.
And all we can do is go by what we have left, the remnants. And what we have left is very important because we have our whole bodies. We do have, or she has a journey, but we are on this journey together.
Right.
But the pain, I can't say I experience your pain, even though I feel her pain. Like when she's hurting and she's washing her wounds, I can feel the pain that she's feeling. Maybe not exactly, but in my gut, I'm hurting with her. And so it's a process. But again, still very grateful. And in that moment, we reached out to friends because we couldn't find our phones, we couldn't find anything. I couldn't remember nobody's numbers, which is like a crippling thing for the cell phone.
Yes. Like coming up, like we remember the rotary phones. We're the age where we remember the phone hanging on the wall and where you would take the phone hanging on the wall around the corner, of the
trying to get some private time.
Trying to get some privacy. Yeah. So now that we have cell phones, you don't really know anybody's phone number, right? You just go on your cell phone and you put their name and whatever. So when it came time to, call somebody for help, because at some point I knew that we were going to the hospital. And I assumed, I think, I don't really know that I knew that I was hurt as bad as I was, but I just assumed that we were both going to the hospital together. And I knew that we had to have someone take care of the animals. So I was like, okay, we got to call somebody. And I was like, immediately, my first thought was we were going to call our friends for Shamo. But I didn't have anybody's number. Like I had no clue, not even the first thought of what the first number would be to call. So I was like, I got to find my phone. And that meant I got to go back into the apartment to look for the phone.
While all the water is sprinkling down everywhere.
Right. And again, at this point, I didn't even realize I was hurt because adrenaline is flowing at this point. I'm just like looking around. What do we need to do? What do we need to do? And my baby's upset. So we got to figure some stuff out. And by this time, the neighbors are coming out. People are trying to help us and surrounding. And I'm trying to get to our support system, the only support system that we know, because we've been in Clarksville for about
like 2.5 years.
Almost 3 years. And so when we first came to Clarksville, the first thing that we did was try to network, kind of put our feelers out there, kind of see where we were, try to figure out who our people. We tried to find our people, tried to find our tribe. So we started going to a couple of networking events. We hooked up with Black Clarksville and Bob, Business Over Breakfast, a couple of different organizations. And so we met a couple through those organizations, Portia and Mo. And over the course of time, we became pretty good friends. And so that's who we were going to call. So I did. I went back inside eventually and found the phone and was able to get Portia on the phone. And so that was a blessing in itself. I'm so grateful to have friends like that to have a support system, and it's very important to have a support system around you. Genuine people who have your best interest at heart, who you can call in a time of crisis, um, at the drop of a hat, and they were like Johnny on the spot, what you need, you know?
Right.
So that was a blessing, and we're very, very grateful for them. And we're very grateful for our neighbors who were there or even around us. They were very nice.
Yes.
As well, because they were just like, what do you need? Here's my phone. Because even when I got my phone and I tried to call Portia, I couldn't hear her and she couldn't hear me. It was breaking up. My phone was waterlogged. So I got her number, but I couldn't talk to her. So the neighbor was like, okay, give me the number and then you can talk to her from my phone, which is what we did. So
yeah, and I couldn't, anytime and I learned this in therapy as well, anytime like we get into an anxious state, we are stressed out, those brain receptacles, the ones that tell us the smart thing to do or the right thing to do, the right choice to make, they get covered up. So anytime you go into the anxious mode, you really can't think clearly. So even when I was trying to think, where could my phone be? Because my daughter was there, like she said, Mo. It's like I don't even know who to call, where to call. I don't even know the first phone number to dial. And then I was like, I don't even remember where my phone was because I could not think. I could not think. Like nothing was coming together. It was just like we're in an emergency. I have no numbers. I'm freaking out. My wife's hurt. What's happening? Oh my goodness, this is not happening. We're supposed to be on our honeymoon. Right. We just got married. What is happening? This shouldn't be happening right now. But life is life, and
it happens.
Yeah.
But you know what? We did it together.
We did.
Yeah.
We did it together, and it's not about. It's not always about what's happening, but it's about how you deal with what just happened.
Yeah. And I think we're doing pretty damn good.
We are doing pretty good. Yes, oh girl. Except for those times that I accidentally hit her sore. And I be wanting to cuddle and we try to do the other side. And,
yeah.
It's okay. It's fine. It'll be back. It'll be back. It'll be back.
It's fine.
And she's gonna heal perfectly. And she's gonna have a story to tell.
Oh, the story I would tell.
Because the ancestors, the connection, all of the things are happening. So the purpose is in it.
Yes, absolutely. There is purpose in the pain. There is absolute purpose in the pain. And I am anxious to tell the story. So we're documenting.
So that is the story of what we have been doing since our last video. It has been challenging, but yet and still we're here, we're alive, and just being able to deal with life circumstances and not always feeling like this happened because you did something wrong or somebody's out to get you. It's just, it's life and things happen. Mistakes are made and it could have been so much worse. I mean, it could have been so much worse, especially if you were me and seeing the explosion, you would understand. It could have been so much worse. Like, I literally don't even understand how she made it out of the kitchen.
I don't understand how I made it out of the kitchen because when the water hit the pot, all I saw was yellow, and then nothing. The next thing I know, I felt myself being picked up off the floor in the hallway. I don't even know how I got out of the kitchen. And there was a gate that separated the kitchen from the hallway. So I don't know how I got out of the kitchen from the explosion to the hallway. The next thing I remember from that yellow in my face was being picked up out of the hallway and scooted out. That's it. And I wasn't on fire at that point.
Right.
So I don't know how my dreads didn't go up in flames because I got plenty of gel and product in it. I don't know how I'm seeing how, because it was right in my face. And the injuries that I have on my face. I just got splotches, but it was right in my face. I'm going to put a picture up. I'm going to put a picture up of a plant that was sitting right there on the counter. One side of the plant is singed from the fire, but the other side of the plant is completely green and healthy and growing. And it was right, it's in the same pot, it's the same plant in the same spot where the explosion occurred, right? So
And
there are
that
a lot of lessons to be learned in this whole situation. Um, and when you said it's not, what was you just said? Like
it's
it's
not
not
about what
always
happened.
right, but what happened? Some of the lessons that I'm learning as we go through this process is it's humbling me. I have to be able to accept help. I'm learning how to not always be in control. I'm learning how to accept help. I was sitting in the hotel, and we're in the breakfast area. The hotel has breakfast, so we go down and we have breakfast. And she was walking Brownie, so I'm sitting down there waiting on her to come in from walking Brownie. This nice little couple sees me with my little waffle, and I was working it out. I had my little butter and a knife in my hand, and I'm trying to spread butter on my little waffle. And they saw me, and she was like, "Well, you need some help?" And I was like, "No, no, no. I got it. I got it.
Because we black women, we can do everything.
We
That's
do
what we
everything.
think,
We're
right?
super women, right? I got this." And she was like, "Okay." And then I continued on. I was a little slow, but I was doing it. And then she came, "You sure you don't need any help?" "I'm sure. I got it. I got it." Well, the next thing I know, she then came over and she was like, "I'm so sorry. Please let me help. Please let me help you." And she took my fork and my knife and she was like, "I just cannot sit by and watch somebody struggle and they need help." And it just dropped in my spirit that amidst all the chaos going on in the world, God's love, that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's
Right,
what we're supposed to be doing.
right,
Exhibiting that love one for another. We're all connected,
right.
right? And so that was a lesson for me, um, to allow, first of all, to allow her to love on me. And then for me to pay that forward to someone else.
Yes.
So those little lessons are coming back to back through this process. And I'm grateful for it. So although there's pain, but there's also um, purpose
Gratefulness.
and gratefulness. So, but I'll keep us in your prayers.
Yes. Definitely keep us in your prayers. And we will continue to bring you our journey and the things that we are experiencing in our life and our relationship and any other thing that you would like us to talk about. We would be more than happy to bring that to the table as well. Just make sure you put it in the comments. But we are so grateful for not just life in itself. We're grateful for the fact that life has done a 360 and brought us back together so that we can live our authentic life together.
Together.
We can go through the struggles of life together. We can go through the joys of life together. And we can create the reality that we want to live.
Yeah.
And we're creating that together. So we are grateful and we are growing. And what we want you to remember is
the destination is the journey.